The watering hole shimmers under the Miocene sun, a rare sanctuary of life in a vast, dry expanse. But peace, in this ancient South American world, is a fleeting illusion. A young Notiomastodon, a tropical mastodon separated from its herd, lowers its head to drink. It is unaware of the silent death that watches from beneath the murky surface. Jaws 5 feet long and lined with teeth like railroad spikes erupt upwards. This is Purussaurus brasiliensis, a colossal crocodilian, the undisputed tyrant of these waterways. The mastodon bellows in shock and terror as a force equivalent to 7 metric tons crushes its leg. The herd trumpets in the distance, a symphony of panic, but they are powerless. The river belongs to Purussaurus, and it has just claimed its throne once more. This is a land of giants, a continent adrift in time, where evolution ran wild. This is South America, a lost world where the rules of survival were written in blood and bone. What happens when the largest predators to ever exist vie for supremacy in a world teeming with giants? And what can their epic stories of survival and extinction teach us about our own fragile existence? South America, for millions of years, was an island continent, a grand evolutionary laboratory sealed off from the rest of the world. Here, life took a different path. In the wake of the dinosaurs, in the steamy, tropical heat of the Paleocene, a new dynasty of giants rose, not on land, but in the sprawling, life-choking wetlands. Imagine a river, not of water, but of immense coiling muscle. This was the domain of Titanoboa. At over 40 feet long and weighing more than a ton, it was the largest snake that has ever existed, a creature of pure elemental power. The hot, humid climate of the Paleocene fueled its immense growth, allowing it to reach sizes that seem mythical to us today. Titanoboa likely spent much of its time in the water, a silent, patient hunter. While it could have crushed the life out of the region's early mammals, evidence from its skull suggests a more specialized diet. Its jaws were finely tuned for a piscivorous lifestyle, preying on the giant lungfish and other freshwater behemoths that shared its aquatic kingdom. It was an ambush predator of unparalleled scale, a living embodiment of the raw, untamed energy of this primordial world. But as the ages turned, a new and even more terrifying ruler would claim the waterways.
In this
Enter Purussaurus brasiliensis.
World,
if Titanoboa was a silent assassin, Purussaurus was a walking fortress of destruction. Reaching lengths of up to 41 feet and weighing a staggering 8.4 metric tons, this giant caiman was the apex predator of the Miocene. Its skull alone was longer than the entire body of most modern caimans, and its bite force was twice as powerful as that of a Tyrannosaurus rex. The hunting strategy of Purussaurus was one of brutal efficiency. It would lie in wait, a silent log of death, until unsuspecting prey came to the water's edge. With an explosive burst of power, it would drag animals weighing over a ton into a watery grave. Its teeth, robust and slightly curved, were not just for slicing, but for puncturing and crushing bone. In its ecosystem, nothing was safe. Giant sloths, bizarre native ungulates, even other large crocodilians were on its menu. Purussaurus was so dominant, so utterly unmatched, that it faced no competition. It was the absolute, undisputed king. But this giant's greatest strength, its immense size, would ultimately become its greatest weakness. Purussaurus required a staggering 88 pounds of food every single day to survive. When the landscape of South America began to change, when the vast wetlands started to recede, and its giant prey began to disappear, the king was left with a kingdom of empty banquet halls. Its reign, built on abundance, collapsed into extinction.
The Titanoboa senses the passing lungfish, its massive muscles tensing. But the moment passed.
Away from the terrifying grip of the rivers, the wetlands and evolving forests were home to some of evolution's most peculiar experiments. These were the mammals that defined South America's long isolation, creatures so strange they puzzled scientists for centuries. Consider the Toxodon platensis, an animal that was a living, breathing mosaic of other creatures. It had the robust, barrel-chested body of a hippopotamus, a trait that for years made scientists believe it was semi-aquatic. Yet, its remains are consistently found in arid and semi-arid environments, suggesting a life spent on dry land. Its teeth were another enigma. Curved and ever-growing like those of a rodent, they were perfectly adapted for grinding down tough vegetation. Topping it all off was a snout that resembled that of a tapir, suggesting it may have had a prehensile lip for grasping leaves and shoots. Weighing over a ton, Toxodon was a formidable herbivore, a testament to the power of convergent evolution, where unrelated species independently evolve similar traits as a result of having to adapt to similar environments or ecological niches. Roaming these same open lands was a creature that seemed to have sprung from a fever dream, Macrauchenia patagonica. With a body like a camel, a long, graceful neck like a llama, and three-toed feet like a rhinoceros, it defied easy classification. For nearly 200 years after its discovery by Charles Darwin, its place on the Tree of Life was a complete mystery. But its most surreal feature was the position of its nasal opening, right on the top of its skull between its eyes. This led to wild speculation. Did it have a snorkel for an aquatic lifestyle? The evidence didn't support it. The prevailing theory now is that it possessed a trunk-like snout, perhaps similar to that of a modern saiga antelope, to help it filter dust in arid environments and grasp vegetation. Macrauchenia was a creature built for speed and agility. Its unique limb structure suggests it could change direction at high speed, a crucial adaptation for escaping predators like the formidable saber-toothed cat, Smilodon. Like Toxodon, Macrauchenia was a survivor, a product of millions of years of isolated evolution. These animals were living monuments to nature's boundless creativity, thriving in a world that was constantly being reshaped by the rhythms of advancing and retreating glaciers. But their unique strangeness, their perfect adaptation to a South America that no longer exists, meant they were ultimately evolutionary dead ends. When the world changed and new competitors arrived from the north during the Great American Interchange, their time was over.
Though peaceful grazing, the sloth suddenly senses the apex predator nearby. It must make a swift...
While strange wanderers roamed the wetlands, the forests and open landscapes were the domain of true giants. These were the colossal herbivores, whose immense size was their primary defense and whose very existence shaped the world around them. Towering over the treetops was Arzarmatherium, the giant ground sloth. Moving with a slow, ancient grace, this herbivore was a walking fortress. When it reared up on its massive hind legs, it could harvest foliage from the highest branches, using its monumental claws not as weapons, but as powerful rakes. Despite its peaceful, plant-eating nature, its sheer size made it virtually untouchable by any predator. It was a living mountain of resilience, a quiet master of its domain, until the arrival of the most dangerous predator of all, humans. Wandering through the lush Gondwanan landscapes of the late Cretaceous was a titan of more subtle majesty, Gondwanatitan forste. Smaller than some of its more famous sauropod relatives, Gondwanatitan was a dinosaur of deliberate calm. Its name, meaning giant from Gondwana, pays homage to the ancient supercontinent it once called home. Like other sauropods, it used its height to browse on tough leaves and shoots, a gentle giant carrying the weight of an ancient world on its steady frame. Its presence speaks to a time of balance, of endurance, and of the quiet grandeur that only these herbivorous giants could possess.
Its colossal size, once its greatest advantage, now proves to be its undoing. Here lies the once mighty Purussaurus, a casualty of a changing world. Its reign ends.
But not all giants were confined to open plains or ancient Cretaceous forests. Deep within the tropical rainforests, a place where no one expected to find such a large animal, lived Notiomastodon platensis. This tropical mastodon challenged all assumptions. Adapted for life in dense, wooded terrain, it navigated the wetlands and forests with a surprising resilience. Analysis of its diet shows an incredible adaptability. It was an opportunistic herbivore that could switch between grazing on grasses and browsing on woody plants, depending on the local conditions. Standing shorter, but weighing as much as a large African elephant, Notiomastodon shared its world with the first humans to arrive in South America. Its bones, found alongside early human artifacts, blur the line between archaeology and myth, leaving us with tantalizing echoes of forgotten encounters. Did our ancestors hunt these forest giants, or did they gaze upon them with awe and reverence? These titans, from the towering sloths to the forest-dwelling mastodons, were the architects of their ecosystems. Their immense appetites shaped the vegetation, creating clearings and pathways. Their herds, moving with unstoppable strength, were a force of nature in themselves. They were proof that in the game of survival, sheer size and quiet endurance could be just as effective as tooth and claw. Let us journey further back, to a rawer, more primal Earth. Before the age of giant mammals, before the reign of colossal crocodilians, South America was part of the supercontinent Pangaea, and a new type of hunter was just beginning its ascent. Meet Styracosaurus pricey, a relic from the very dawn of the dinosaurs. Living in the harsh Triassic terrain, this agile carnivore was a blueprint for the predators that would one day rule the planet. At around 6 feet long, it was small by later standards, but it was built for speed and precision. Its slender, bipedal form and long, stiff tail for balance made it a swift and calculated hunter. The teeth of Styracosaurus were serrated, laterally compressed, and curved backward toward the throat, perfect tools for catching, holding, and tearing into smaller reptiles and the ancestors of mammals. It embodied the ferocity and instinct of Earth's earliest dinosaur hunters, a perfectly honed killing machine in a world just beginning to know true predators. Millions of years later, in the Cretaceous period, the predatory form had become far more specialized. On the prehistoric coastlines of what is now Brazil, a different kind of hunter prowled the shallow waters. This was Oxylea quilamensis, a spinosaurid adapted for a life of aquatic ambush. More closely related to the famous African Spinosaurus than to other South American predators, Oxylea was a master of stealth and surgical precision. Its narrow, elongated jaws were filled with cone-shaped teeth, ideal for impaling slippery fish rather than tearing flesh. Like modern gharials, its interlocking front teeth formed a perfect fish trap. Its nostrils were placed far back on its head, allowing it to breathe while the tip of its snout was submerged. Oxylea was a bridge between two worlds, land and water. It likely spent most of its time near or in the water, avoiding direct competition with the large land-based carnivores of its time. It was a specialist, a creature that had perfected the art of hunting in a very specific niche. Its very name connects the ancient past with the present. It is named in honor of the cultural legacy of the Quilombola people, descendants of escaped African slaves who formed settlements in the same region of Brazil where this remarkable dinosaur was found. From the generalized, swift hunter of the Triassic to the specialized aquatic fisher of the Cretaceous, the story of these predators is a story of evolution itself. It shows us how, over millions of years, the simple act of hunting can be refined into a stunning array of deadly and beautiful art forms. We have journeyed through a lost continent, a world of unimaginable giants and evolutionary oddities. We have witnessed the brutal efficiency of the Purussaurus, the silent power of the Titanoboa, the surreal adaptations of the Macrauchenia, and the quiet strength of the Arzarmatherium. Their world is gone, silenced by the relentless march of time and change. But their stories, etched in stone, are not just tales of ancient beasts. They are fables of survival, filled with profound lessons for our own time. The story of Toxodon and Macrauchenia teaches us about the power of adaptability. They were masterpieces of convergent evolution, thriving because their strange bodies were perfectly suited to their environment. In our own lives, in a world that is changing faster than ever, the ability to adapt, to be flexible, and to find creative solutions to new challenges is not just a benefit, it is a core survival skill. How often do we resist change, clinging to old ways when the world is demanding a new approach? The great herbivores, like Gondwanatitan and the giant ground sloths, offer us a lesson in quiet strength. They dominated their landscapes not through aggression, but through sheer presence, balance, and endurance. In a culture that often glorifies noise and conflict, they remind us that true strength can be found in resilience, in patience, and in the quiet determination to simply keep moving forward. Specialized hunter, Oxalea, demonstrates the wisdom of finding your niche. It didn't compete with the massive land carnivores. Instead, it mastered its own domain, the shallow waters. This is a powerful lesson in a competitive world. Instead of trying to be the best at everything, we can find immense success and purpose by identifying our unique talents and mastering a specific skill or area where we can truly excel. What is your unique niche? Where can your specific talents shine the brightest?
Here in the lush mangrove forests, the Oxalea quilombensis hunts, its immense size dominating the prehistoric landscape.
And finally, the extinction of these magnificent creatures, from the mighty Purussaurus brought down by a changing climate to the megafauna that vanished with the arrival of humans, serves as the most sobering lesson of all, the inevitability of change and the impact of our actions. Their world vanished, a powerful reminder that no reign is eternal and that even the strongest can fall. It compels us to look at our own world at the incredible biodiversity that surrounds us and to recognize our profound responsibility to be stewards, not destroyers. The echoes of these lost giants ask us a critical question. What legacy will we leave for the future?
The sheer scale of the mastodon is evident as it drinks deeply from the icy lake.
The laws of nature are cruel, but they are also honest. The stories of these animals are not just about a struggle for survival. They are about the incredible, relentless, and beautiful drive of life itself. By understanding their triumphs and their failures, we can perhaps better understand our own. Thank you for joining us on this journey back in time. We hope these echoes from a lost world have sparked your curiosity and given you a new perspective on the grand, unfolding story of life on Earth. We wish you all good health and a life filled with discovery. And if you enjoyed this journey, please consider subscribing to our channel for more adventures into the deep past. Join us as we continue to uncover the stories that time forgot.
The ability to adapt is as a core survival skill.
This magnificent oxalea, weighing several tons, moves through the shallows almost silently, ever alert for prey.
A world of ancient tranquility, where giants roam misty valleys and specialized predators wait.
What legacy will we leave for the future?